Welcome back to another Alliance War. For Loki, we are currently ranked 7 going into the 11th war of Season 7. And our opponents are Goku, Juggernaut, no, something. And I'm going to go ahead and pop on some light boost, trying to, not break the bank in terms of items this war compared to some of the previous wars here where, yeah, especially that MMX war, had to use pretty much everything I had. So really looking to try to save some cost. This first node is Aggression, Fury, Limber, Unblockable L1. It's a 6-star Unawakened Science Champion that turns out to be a Yellowjacket. Okay, so the plan here is to just build up a couple of poise charges to the start of the fight. Don't want to build too many, of course. Don't want to let him get that Fury built up too high. And actually, here I kind of mess up. I should not have done a 5-hit combo. It doesn't really set you up in a good spot to evade the L1 from Yellowjacket. Typically, if you evade back, once to set yourself up a little bit of distance away, then you'll evade. Then you'll have no problem evading the L1. I actually got clipped by it in this fight, so it didn't really help me that I had that distance this time around, which is a bit surprising, but what can you do? Sometimes you get clipped by it, right? The next node is Bane Stun Immune, and it is a Korg, and it's an unawakened Korg, so I don't have to worry about suffering any of the damage from the rock shield, which is quite nice. And just gonna try my best to get Bane going on him. There's a few mistakes throughout this fight. One is I could have had a lot more openings than I took advantage of. With him ending on his medium attacks or 5-hit combos. But the biggest mistake is right here. I don't know why I only attacked one time. I should have just pushed him to a special 2. That was pretty silly on my part. Really don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I was thinking I wasn't going to get that attack in and just wanted to immediately pull back. Something like that. But in any case, yeah, the fight is going smoothly enough. And this Korg is going to go down momentarily here. Special 1 should do the trick, and yeah, there we go. Korg is down. Alright, moving on to node 24, the Buffet Limber Recovery node. It is a 565 Science Champion. And going to go ahead and take a quick look at the profile, see that there's a Wasp in the profile. And that's a little bit scary, 565 Wasp. One heavy attack. If you slip up and get hit by that heavy attack, she can do a ton of damage. So to get myself around that, just gonna pop invulnerability boost here just to be safe. This way, if I do slip up, because that is how I'm gonna get my openings. I'm gonna be baiting out heavy attacks, and yeah, like I said, one slip up against her heavy attacks, and man, it's devastating. So go ahead and pop that invulnerability boost, and from here the fight is pretty normal. Just going to be baiting out those heavy attacks. I get pretty lucky and get 2 petrifies early on, which is fantastic. It's going to help me to reverse that buffet healing right from the start of the fight. And the other way that I get my openings after baiting out heavy attacks is just baiting out special 1s. Both the heavy attack and Wasp's special 1 ability will put her her shock thing on cooldown, where she'll auto evade and shock you. So that's what the timer is, right next to all the debuffs below her health bar. You just want to make sure that you're attacking her when that gray cooldown timer is still going. If it is not going, then yeah, you need to be baiting out a heavy attack or baiting out a special, and that's pretty much it. Fight doesn't last all that long thanks to the early buffet, procs, and yeah, Wasp is down. Alright, moving on to the mid-mini boss, which today's mid-mini boss is brought to you by a 6-star Unawakened Kingpin, champion that I've seen on this mini-boss quite a bit in the past. So I'm not too worried about it, especially since I should still have that invulnerability boost on, just in case I do slip up. Although, still can't take it too lightly, because the invulnerability boost does not really do anything against the degeneration that gets applied from Kingpin's special 1, and that degen is pretty nasty. So still have to watch out for Kingpin's special 1, especially when he goes unblockable. If he ever gets 8 of those rage stacks, I think it's 8 of them that he has to get, right? But in any case, I got my 10 poise charges built up. He's already got a few rages, and yeah, I'm already laying into some pretty good damage here, though. And just need to bait out a couple more special 1s, and then I should be able to finish this off with a nice juicy special 2. He's been a little bit stingy with his special one. There we go, finally throws it. Normally Kingpin is pretty loose with the special one. It's funny how certain champions, you notice that they seem to be more willing to throw specials than other champions. And Kingpin, for me at least, in my experience, is one of those champions that generally is more willing to throw that special one. Alright, but Kingpin does go down without too much difficulty. Next up, we're pulling up to the Aggression, Armor, and Explosive Personality node. It's a 455 Tech Champion, just going to heal up my Void a little bit. And this is going to be an Iron Man Infinity Man. So, just going to try my best to play around those armor ups, not get myself parried. That's a big thing to watch out for in this fight. You just don't want to attack into Infinity Man when he has 4 armor ups. Even when he gets to 3, it gets a little bit risky and is really, generally not worth doing regular attacks into. That's when it's a good time to switch over to the heavy attacks. Here I get a nice special intercept going just to get another debuff on him. And really, I mean, it's all about the debuffs in this fight. It's always about the debuffs when you're playing Void, but even more so in this fight since you can't really get much damage in off of your regular attacks. And I got pretty lucky here. Got one of each of the debuffs. That's how you do the most damage, since 2 of the same debuff will not add to the degen damage. It will add to the healing reduction with the Despair Mastery, but a single debuff basically has to be a unique debuff. That's the only way to add more damage. Resonate's kicking in to add a little bit more damage to that as well. I did a pretty good job of managing the armor ups this fight to the point where I was able to actually use special ones throughout the entire fight. Sometimes he builds up enough armor ups that you really can't get those regular attacks in, and then you can't use your specials. But in this case, it all worked out. Next video, I think I also fight an Infinity Man on this node, and it doesn't quite go as smoothly. So it is a little bit hit and miss with this node, and against Infinity Man. Sometimes you have clean fights like this one, and yeah, sometimes you don't. But gonna go ahead and reboost to finish out my path here. I have to wait to get some energy, of course. And I'm popping on more boosts at this point than I normally do. Normally the second half of the war I try to keep it to just a health boost if possible, but have a 565 Domino on this node. So yeah, I want to make sure that I don't get wrecked by Domino like I just did a couple wars back. I'm gonna be using Stark Spidey. If you couldn't tell by the tech boost that I activated. And really just going to try to build up a few poise charges. Going to watch out for the unfazed. I practiced a little bit since last time I fought Domino. But, for the most part, I know how to do the fight. It's always one of those fights that's a little bit annoying to try to do. The hardest thing for me is to actually build up poise charges. I should have got one right there, but, failed because of, well, Domino. She triggers unfazed, so I know she has unfazed, something to watch out for the rest of the fight. And you can see I still don't really have too many poise charges, but the difference between this fight and the war that I had a couple of wars ago, where I died against Domino, is really the addition of those 3 poise charges from Blade. So you're going to see I get 2 crits here on the special 2. That gives me quite a bit of power back. Unfazed does kick in there. Luckily, she only hits me the 1 time. Otherwise, that could have been a nightmare. And I get another special 2 off pretty quickly here, and Domino goes down. So yeah, huge difference just those 3 extra poise charges at the start of the fight make. Because it wasn't a particularly good fight on my part. I wasn't, I was missing a lot of opportunities to build up poise. I was a little bit backed up against the wall, but just having those extra 3 poise charges, so important. Alright, moving on to the final mini-boss here. This is a Juggernaut, a 6-star Awakened Juggernaut, which, oh man, I'm so sorry. So sorry that this person had to get Juggernaut twice out of the 6-star crystal. That cannot feel good. Oh man, now that I'm saying that, wait a minute, I have a Juggernaut. Oh boy, I hope I don't pull Juggernaut out of my next 6-star crystal. But in any case, I'm happy to be fighting Juggernaut here instead of the standard Green Goblin fight that I always have on this node. There is strike back on this node, so every time I use a special, Juggernaut's gaining a bar of power here, but I don't really mind that. I prefer Juggernaut uses his special too, so I actually kind of want to push him to that special too. It's just easier to evade. Sometimes I slip up on the L1. It's kind of a spacing thing and timing thing. And then after the L2, I could always get that little bit of an attack in, you know, directly after for a little bit of extra damage. So always enjoy doing that. At this point, you know, Fear the Void is about to take over, and I'm basically just saving for an L2. Go ahead and pop that L2 as soon as Fear the Void activates. Get a decent crit, actually, and that's going to help close out the fight pretty quickly here. And Juggernaut goes down. Alright, so pretty clean war here. And we did go on to take the victory. But shout out to Goku. They were a Platinum 1 alliance that got a little bit of a higher matchup against us, but they're a really strong alliance, actually. They didn't die. I think they died fewer than some of the other alliances that we faced this season, so pretty strong, actually. And that is going to do it for this war. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.